Dear students, today we will try to understand what are the basic minimum standards for adventure tourism under the topic Minimum Standards for Adventure Tourism, and the topic can be divided into following subheadings: Adventure Tourism in India, Aims and Objectives, List of Institutions, Mountaineering and Trekking, Water-based Adventure Activities. Adventure tourism in India. Adventure tourism is seen as a very important niche segment within special interest tourism sector. Special interest tourism indicates the provision of customized leisure and recreational experience driven by specific interests for individuals and groups. Adventure tour by its very nature carries some risk. Hence, various governmental agencies provides large number of guidelines for ensuring the safety of the participants. These guidelines cannot avoid the risk fully, but they ensure that the risk is kept at minimum level. Adventure tour operators in most of the countries works within legal and ethical frameworks of the country of operation, and they have formal obligations concerning customer safety. Adventure Tourism Development Index, which ranks adventure tourism potential for countries around the world based on the principle of sustainable adventure tourism, has ranked Switzerland and New Zealand among top 2 countries as best adventure tourism destinations. Therefore, these 2 countries have highest adventure tourism activities. They follow very strict guidelines for all types of adventure activities. For example, in New Zealand, there are 2 specific status: Injury Prevention, Rehabilitation and Compensation Act 2001 and the Health and Safety Employment Act 1992. Adventure providers have protections and obligations. They will be responsible if there is any negligence or carelessness on their part towards their clients. In Switzerland, safety in adventure was introduced in 2004 by a non-profit foundation. With the objective of safety maximization within the Swiss adventure tourism sector, the foundation has defined several safety targets and requirements which all adventure tour operators have to fulfill. It defines possible risk resources and develops an operational framework in order to reduce the risk level as much as possible. The foundation regularly verifies them, and only those companies which follow strictly the safety measures can use the label Safety in Adventure. This is very much similar to ISO system and is valid for 1 year. Therefore, the foundation works as a monitoring body and regulates the adventure tourism activities in Switzerland. Adventure tourism always carries risk. Therefore, the adventure tour operators shall take all possible precautions to minimize the risk. Hence, the concerned government prescribes certain minimum norms to ensure the safety and security of the adventure tourists. Ministry of Tourism, Government of India has laid down a number of guidelines to be strictly followed by adventure tour operators in India. It revised and updated its guidelines in 2012, which has come into effect from 2nd January 2012. There are a vast number of adventure tourism activities which are being conducted in the country. In order to ensure safety of participants in such activities, there is need to lay down the minimum acceptable standards in terms of equipments and human resources. Coming to aims and objectives. The aims and objectives of the scheme of recognition of adventure tour operator are to encourage quality standard and service in this category so as to ensure safety of the participants and promote tourism in India. This is a voluntary scheme open to all bona fide adventure tour operators to bring them in organized sector. Coming to definition, an adventure tour operator is the one who is engaged in activities related to adventure tourism in India, namely water sports, aero sports, mountaineering, trekking and safaris of various kinds, etc. Recognition. The recognition for adventure tour operator shall be granted by the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, New Delhi. The Ministry appoints a committee consisting of the concerned regional director and a member of the Adventure Tour Operators Association of India. The members of the committee have to conduct inspection and examine various equipments and professionally trained and skilled manpower. Based on the recommendation of the committee, recognition is granted for a term of 5 years. Although a large number of activities come under adventure tourism, the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India has granted recognition primarily to the following 4 categories of adventure tourism. First one, operators dealing with water sports which include only river running. Second one, operators dealing with aero sports which include only parasailing and paragliding. Third one, operator dealing with various types of safaris. Lastly, fourth one, operators dealing with mountaineering and trekking. Need for incorporating new guidelines. The classification need to be revised taking into consideration additional items coming under the above categories. The revision may include aero sports. It may include paragliding, parasailing, ballooning, canoeing, bungee jumping. Water sports. It may include rafting, caving, windsurfing, water skiing and kayaking. Land-based. Trekking, mountaineering, rock climbing, snowboarding, motorcycling and cycling. Next is ecotourism. Safaris of all types, bird watching, camel, horse and elephant rides. For each and every activities, environmental guidelines should be laid down which shall be strictly adhered to by every tour operator. Procedure for granting recognition. The following conditions must be fulfilled for grant of recognition or for renewal or extension of recognition. The application for grant or renewal or extension of recognition shall be in the prescribed form with the necessary fees and submitted in duplicate along with the required documents. Adventure tour operator should have a minimum of rupees 3 lakhs as paid up capital supported by audited balance sheet or certified by the statutory auditor. The turnover by the firm from adventure tourism and other adventure activities should be rupees 10 lakhs during the preceding financial year. The minimum office space should be at least 100 square feet in hilly area above 1000 meters from the MSL and 150 square feet for other area. It should have neat and clean surroundings and should have all modern office equipments. Adventure tour operator firm or company shall have a minimum of 4 qualified staff, out of which one should have a diploma or degree in travel and tourism management from a recognized university, Indian Institute of Travel and Tourism Management or any other institution approved by AICTE. For the agencies located in the northeastern region or in remote and rural areas, there should be a minimum of 2 qualified staff, of which one should have a diploma or degree in tourism and travel management from a recognized university, IITM, or an institution approved by AICTE. The agency must clearly indicate its specialization of activities or activities it wishes to pursue as its business. For the monuments protected under the Ancient Monument as well and Archaeological Sites and Remains Act 1958, the adventure tour operator should deploy or engage the services of regional level tourist guides trained and licensed by the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India or other guide approved by the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India. Coming to list of institutions. The suggested list of institutions whose certificates would be recognized as guide or trip leaders qualifications for the specified activity in India are as follows. Land-based: Himalayan Mountaineering Institute, Jawahar Parbat, Darjeeling; Nehru Institute of Mountaineering, Uttarkashi; Western Himalayan Mountaineering Institute, Manali; Indian Institute of Skiing and Mountaineering, Gulmarg; Armed Forces Training Establishment in respect of ex-servicemen; any other equivalent institutions for foreign countries recognized internationally. Next is water-based: National Institute of Water Sports, Goa; Regional Water Sports Centre, Pongdam, Himachal Pradesh; Armed Forces Training Establishment for ex-servicemen; any other equivalent institutions from foreign countries recognized internationally. Coming to air-based: Armed Forces Training Establishment in respect of ex-servicemen and any other equivalent institutions from foreign countries recognized internationally. Enforcement agency: although the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India has given guidelines, but at present there is no enforcement agency to monitor whether all the adventure tour operators are strictly adhering to the norms fixed by the ministry. We in India always take pleasure in breaking the law than following it. Therefore, there is a need for establishing an enforcement agency. Adventure Tourism Monitoring Committee: there is a need to establish a monitoring committee under the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India. It may consist of 5 members. The chairman may be appointed by the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India. Other 4 members should consist of people representing different adventure tour operators associations. The members must be proven specialists with actual experience in specific adventure activity. They should fulfill all the requirements for becoming a guide or a trip leader. Accreditation system and peer team: Australia and New Zealand have established a joint accreditation system for all types of adventure activities in 2014. We in India need to follow this system of accreditation. The members of the monitoring committee may appoint a peer team for physical examination of every agency engaged in adventure tourism activity in India. This team should consist of experts in the specific area of adventure for which accreditation is to be undertaken. The members of the peer team should be able to carry out inspection of the operator's facilities and must be individually capable of conducting the activity independently. In other words, they must be experts in the specified area and should have enough training and experience for doing the particular job. There should be no conflict of interest and prejudice between the members of peer team and the agency getting accreditation. This peer team should visit the adventure tour operator's location and examine all equipments particularly relating to its quality and safety, training facilities, procedure, human resource, other facilities available and any other relevant matter. After satisfying themselves about the safety measures undertaken by the concerned agency which conforms to the international standard, the peer team may recommend for giving accreditation to the concerned adventure operator. The certificate has to be given by the monitoring committee. The aim of the certification is to inspire confidence that an operator's delivery of adventure activity is safe. The value of certification depends upon the degree of public confidence reposed in the system. Training colleges. The Ministry of Tourism, Government of India should establish a training college for different adventure activities. It can provide training to guides and leaders for carrying out adventure activities. This will ensure better safety and professionalism. It also promotes adventure tourism. Next, moving on to mountaineering and trekking. These basic minimum standards will apply specifically to commercial operators attempting to climb 6,000 meters and above. These companies offer climbers above base camp. It also applies to operators who provide transport and other supplies to base camp. Registration. All commercial operators who are engaged in mountaineering shall register with Adventure Tour Operators Association of India and Ministry of Tourism, Government of India. Training and certification. The leader or the chief guide should have high altitude experience appropriate to the altitude of the peak to be climbed. He must have been a member of at least 3 climbing expeditions above 6,000 meters earlier and must have completed basic mountaineering course with A grade or an equivalent certificate from foreign country. Information to clients. A large number of organizations offer to take clients on 6,000 meters or other comparable peaks. They have to mention clearly what services are offered by them in terms of training, guidance, equipments, etc. They should also mention the duration, cost and other relevant information. The client should be able to take suitable decisions based on the information. The brochure and the advertisement should give the true picture about the risk and danger involved. False and impossible promises should not be given. When an expedition is commercially launched by an operator, then the biographical information about the guiding team should be given. The chief must truthfully give his experience supported by proper documentations. Similarly, the clients should also reveal truth about their previous experience and health. Mutual trust and confidence is a must for a good thrilling and experience and a safe return. Medical care. An experienced doctor in the group is desirable, but the guide must have basic knowledge of first aid and cardiopulmonary resuscitation certification. Advanced arrangements for medical emergencies must have been made and known to all persons in the group. Enough materials and supplies. Depending upon the number of persons in the group and the length of the period, enough food items and other materials must be carried. Communication and transport. Walkie-talkie, radios, mobiles and other advanced communication equipments should be carried. Emergency transport facilities should also be arranged. Next is equipments. All equipments used in the expedition should be certified by Union International Alpine Association or European Union. Knowledge of environment. Knowledge of environmental impact on human health during expedition must be informed. In this connection, environmental guidelines to protect the environment as laid by International Alpine Association to be strictly followed. Coming to the last one, water-based adventure activities. Following guidelines shall be followed by the companies offering water sports facilities. First one is registration. Any company operating river running trips or commercial whitewater rafting trips must be registered with Indian Association of Professional Rafting Outfitters or Adventure Tour Operators Association of India and the Ministry of Tourism. Qualified guide. All trips on whitewater for tourists shall be conducted with at least one qualified guide on each craft. They should have adequate experience. A senior guide or trip leader must be present and supervise the activities at all times. Next is certification. The guide accompanying the trip should be a major, means 18 years, be able to swim and holds a valid first aid and cardiopulmonary resuscitation certificate or its equivalent. All leaders or guides must possess a valid certificate or license from a recognized institution or association. Training. Guide trainees should complete a course that equips them with the necessary skills and knowledge to safety and completely guide the raft. The guide training course should include the following topics. First one, skill, rafting techniques, crew training and management, emergencies and rescue techniques. Full knowledge of equipments, safety and emergency procedures, rapid theory, signals and environmental protection. Coming to recognition and experience. A guide should have guided a raft under the supervision of and to the satisfaction of trip leader on 10 whitewater runs within the past 2 years in rapid and of the same class or higher than the run they intend to ride on. He should be familiar on any new stretch of whitewater they intend to guide. He should maintain a logbook recording each run and get it signed by trip leader as a proof of experience. He must have good communication skill in English and in Hindi. Special requirements for trip leader. The trip leader should have been a qualified guide for at least 2 years. He have high level of guiding skill and knowledge. Have guided a raft as a qualified guide on at least 20 whitewater runs within the past 2 years in rapids of the same class or higher than the run they intend to lead on. Complete familiarization run and evacuation routes on any new stretch of whitewater they intend to lead on. Have excellent communication skill in English and in Hindi. Single raft trips. Some of the worst accidents in river running have occurred internationally where there has been only one raft. There should always be at least 2 crafts on the water, that is 2 rafts or 1 raft and 1 kayak. First aid kits. All trips must carry a well-equipped first aid kit with triangular bandages, sterile pads, gauge roller bandages, pressure bandages, adhesive tape, splints, scissors, etc. All rafts must have a throw bag and a bailing bucket. Personal safety measures. All rafters or kayakers, including guides and leaders, must have life jacket on all times while on water. Guides should ensure that the life jackets are on a secure manner before the trip starts. Helmets are mandatory on all rapids and it should be there throughout the trip. The helmet should be properly strapped. Raft must be in good condition without any leakage or damage. Equipments. All equipment should be inspected by a competent person or the manufacturer before starting of every season or once in 6 months, whichever is earlier. They should carry navigational equipment wherever necessary. A craft should display the lift of equipments and accessories as to be visible to the users along with a warning of potential hazards. Age limit. All tourists taking rafting must be 14 years of age except float trips where it may be relaxed to 10 years. Non-swimmers. Non-swimmers should not be allowed on any serious rapids. Safety briefing. Guides or trip leaders must ensure that a thorough safety briefings covering all relevant details for that particular trip is given before each trip. The trip leader must ensure that clients are in suitable attire before starting. Appropriate clothing must be worn during winter or on glacial melt rivers with cold air temperatures. For such rivers, dry or wet suits, light woolens or synthetic cloths are recommended. People suffering from any serious ailments, weak heart conditions, epilepsy and women expecting motherhood should not be allowed. Foreign guides. Foreign guides must be aware of the Indian safety regulations before being allowed to operate. They must fulfill all Indian requirements and take 1 or 2 trial runs. Safety kayaker. A safety and rescue kayaker must be thoroughly trained and experienced in all safety norms, river rescue and first aid help. A minimum of 30 days on the river is mandatory before kayaking with commercial trips. Dear students, I hope you got some information regarding the needs for adventure tourism. We will meet in the future episode. Till then, take care. Thank you.